So let's
All right.
get it.
Let's get it.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming up with All Dolled Up from Sharby. We are about to interview Quakk Life. How's it going?
Yes, it's going. Happy Monday. I actually, for the first time in, hi Dashi. Everyone say hi to Dashi.
Hello, Dashi. For the first time in what?
In 2.5 years, I didn't get on Telegram from Friday until last night when I messaged you.
Good for you. What was the occasion?
I don't know. Like I've been so busy in the background on Sharby. As you know, we're developing our platform, and we actually this last week we announced a rebrand, which really aligned with our audit. So we're in audit right now of the platform, and we had to do some re-auditing, and those things take time, whatever. But we were like, if we were to make a change now is the time, because we haven't launched it. We wouldn't want to launch it, get it out there, because in our minds, the people that use the platform are going to also be our marketing team, right? Because we feel like it's so user centric. So like unlike Pump, we are focusing on the developers, but also the user, and rewarding and incentivizing the users of the platform. And so, yeah, it was like, if we're going to do this, now is the time. And I think Sharby.fun was cool. Okay. But we also came up with that last September, right? Like 10, 11 months ago. And just sitting back and thinking about it, like we do want it to be taken seriously, which, not that Sharby.fun wasn't serious, but it had the .fun. And so we, the DAO, we voted, we have rebranded to Strike, powered by Sharby. And I think it's just kind of like, there's so many things you can strike it, like there's a lot of play on words there. And, overall, for like the new person or someone who hasn't heard of Sharby, I think that they can see Strike and then learn about Sharby, because in our minds, we're not really worried about the price and the movement of Sharby right now, because we feel, because you can be rewarded for holding Sharby on the platform, the chart will move itself with the success of the platform, right? So our focus is like tunnel vision on the platform, because that will then incentivize and drive people to buy Sharby. They'll want to hold Sharby because they're going to get a cut of the revenue from the platform. So anywho, so we've just been, it's hard. I do this every Monday with you, but people don't see the work. I'm just like you, like, not only are you front facing, like most of the week, just the DMs, the grinding behind the scenes that takes place. And so I had been going like 2 weeks, just like straight, and coordinating things and messages and emails and And so I don't know, it was by happenstance. It wasn't on purpose, but I just connected, and it was good. And then I feel like I've been gone a year, which is fine. 1,300 messages later. And we're back. But I just took and you know what, for the first time ever, all 4 of our children, we have 4 teenagers, all 4 of them were gone on an adventure. So we have our 2 boys in California. Our daughter had gone on a cruise with her best friend. She was gone. And then our youngest daughter had gone to Padre Island. It's in Texas, but she had gone to the beach with a friend and family. And so Hero and I had no kids for like the first time ever. We had so much fun. So we went to nice restaurants. We went to a winery. We just we had a good old time. So I disconnected, and now I'm back in. So I'm excited for this week. There's going to be big stuff. And then Sharby, I'll be speaking on a Spaces with Jen and Volt on Wednesday night. And I'm going to start ramping up my presence in the X's and YouTube and all that. So yeah, busy weeks ahead, getting ready to launch the platform. But that was kind of the weekend in a nutshell. But yeah, that was like, it was kind of easy not to check messages, but that there's stuff that the crypto time, Web3 time is just warp speed,
Yeah.
But anyway.
the previous co-CEO of VeVe gave me a call, is months ago, where I was doing something, and I couldn't be live on like Wednesday and then Thursday, and then on Thursday night I get a call. He's like, "Hey, Randy, just checking up on you. You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" It's like, "Yeah, you haven't streamed in 2 days," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, shit, my bad, fam."
I
So
swear every time I get on X, you're streaming, but
the
I know
CEO of the company is just like, "Randy, what's going on?"
where's Randy? So that like consistency, and that's the thing. Like, but I feel like you manage it well. Do you feel like I mean, I've seen your calendar, right? It's like you know what you have, what you got to do. You're really good at that part about it, and the consistency is so shit. Yeah, that's wild, Randy.
So it's every month. It doesn't stop. I guess April was a little late, but outside of that, it doesn't stop.
Look at that.
So
But
the
consistency, you are one of those that the consistency, and so of course the CEO is going to be like, where's Randy? Like and I love that. Like, or people that post all the time and then you won't see a post from them and you don't think about it till after. You don't think in the moment scrolling X, that person is so consistent. But then when it's not there, or someone like in the main chat and Telegram, right? You see someone and then you're like, where'd they go? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that person. You notice. So yeah, the CEO's like, what's up, Randy? Where'd you go?
I guess there's these. I saw this on TikTok where people are like, "Hey, for those of you that don't know, people they always seem like they don't do anything. They like to stay at home." I guess there's these things called spoons, or this is like the best analogy that I can get. Like everyone has a certain amount of spoons each day. You require a spoon to get ready, to go to work, to go grocery shopping, to do whatever. And I guess some people start with like three, and they just that's all they have energy for, and they need to recharge. I am fortunate enough that I was born with unlimited spoons, so I could keep going. I do need sleep, but there's I mean, it's definitely very healthy to take a break, and you probably should, because life's about balance. What's up, Crazy Dan 420? Thanks for being a member. But some people are like, "Oh, Charles, just touch some grass," and I feel like a ground and rock type Pokemon, where like grass is like 4x weakness to me, and like my brother in Christ, I can't. I have so much shit to do. So I think I finished the Heine Coin comic. I started on the I'm starting on the monkey comic, I think tomorrow. But I haven't worked on any daCat comic in months because I've been writing all the other ones and talking with artists about the other ones, and just the day job of the crypto consulting, and then NFTs came. So because I'm like the biggest YouTuber for VeVe, and you see a bunch of these like Secret Rare Spider-Man like doubled, went from 3K to 6K, and then you see like Todd Batman going from 350 to 500. Like, okay, now I have to make like an extra video or an extra whatever on that. And I really want to, and then daCat's going crazy because they're finally in the top 10 of cat memes on crypto, or cat meme coins on crypto or on Ethereum. And I was like, oh yes, that's awesome. SHIRO is still many places ahead of us. I think they're number 6. We're number 10, and it's just a lot of being pulled in every direction. However, I think I do it well, and I will probably do it until it's not fun anymore. But I've also sold part of the channel, so I can't not like I can't have somebody like, yeah, this one guy. So DEVVE bought part of my channel in I think May or June.
Okay.
And I can't feel okay by 10%. Now I'm going to take a break for like a week. That seems a little not like a good look.
True. But I like what you said, like, until it's not fun anymore. And I think you would know, like, I think we've talked about like burnout, right? And does burnout really exist, or are you just giving your energy to things that don't like fill your cup? I have lots of spoons too, but I don't know if it's healthy. So like over the years I've gained self-awareness, but like I'm always go, go, go. So like I have this like, it's really hard for me to like chill. Like maybe that's why I haven't seen the gazillion movies. I have so many things because like if I'm just sitting watching TV mentally, I'm like, oh, I could be doing this or that. Hello. So
Hi.
Hi, Mystic. Yeah. So Mystic, or everyone, it is either Randy Chavez with All Load Up from Sharby and our guest Mystic from Quakk Life. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful sunny day out here in California. I can't complain, don't got much to complain about. The project's going well. Life's good. You'll see probably some of my cats. They just love something about, like, I could be on X Spaces all day, nothing, but something about the live stream. They just really want the attention. So prepare for cat inbound.
That is fine. I love kitties. I'm head of daCat. I think we've talked about that previously. And so tell me about first before we tell me about Quack Life. How long do I have you for?
Until let's see, like an hour.
Okay, that's cool. All right, we can get. We got this. All right, so tell me about Mystic and what makes Mystic.
Well, I did actually a deep dive the other day about this in my pinned post on X, so I would encourage people to check that out for a little more detail. But I think that a lot of what sets me apart is that I'm a farmer in real life, and I'm not like the traditional dev. I'm bringing a business to Web3 and to Solana and trying to create more utility for Solana and crypto in general to have spaces where we can spend it. And I think that, focusing a lot on education, a lot on in real life kind of products and outreach is something that sets us apart. And then, yeah, I mean, I've had a wild ride, right? So I was could have been probably a professional soccer player when I was younger. I chose to go the pre-med route in college, and I moved out to I came to visit California after accidentally working for Monsanto, which that was fun. At their
You gotta
headquarters.
tell me about that.
So must have been, I guess, my junior year of pre-med, and I thought I was going to work with this nonprofit that was working with opium poppy plants to help, people heal from pain. And so I was like, okay, this sounds great. I had started to I'm from Oklahoma originally, and so not a hippie at all, or not a naturalist, or not any of that.
And then
Yeah, and then I had some really bad health issues, and so I was kind of starting to check into diet and herbs and these different ways of healing as I was going to school for pre-med. And it was, so that was my mission, was to find ways to heal. And I got this internship with Monsanto, and it turned out that they were the subsidiary, right? They were directly across the street from the headquarters in St. Louis, and they had, my lab was next to the creator of Roundup, right? And so I was like in the belly of the beast, y'all, like so hardcore, working with people from all over the world, like super fancy science place, right? And NDAs, and can't take anything, can't even bring your phone, like pretty intense. And I ended up genetically modifying plants, and I was one of the 22 kids, which was crazy because I was the youngest and the only one from a state school and not from like Cornell or, somewhere like that. And I was also the only one that didn't want to do that. They all were here to do food engineering, and I guess I was just a good writer. I don't know, or my grades or whatever. So I got in, right? And turns out I'm giving plants cancer to create GMOs. That's a huge, like, you create these bacterias, you're messing with microRNA, and then you're giving plants cancer to like replicate what it is that you want it to produce. And it's the whole step. Every tiny little step of the way is just toxic, super incredibly wasteful, like I can't even, anyways. And then I visited California a week after this internship ended and was like, holy shit. Like, okay, I found this is the place. These are my people, right? And And so I'd signed this contract with these guys and was stuck for, 12 weeks, and it was just a mess. And then I finally realized who they were and all the things. But anyway, so then I come out to Cali and I found the redwoods and the ocean and was just like, and people who were different, and different like me, right? I was kind of like a black sheep in my area. And so instead of going, like when I went back and I'm talking about water quality and air quality and we need to eat organic foods and this is why, because I literally just left Monsanto and it's like it's going to be a serious problem in our generation and our future generations. And everyone there was like, oh, you're crazy, blah, 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 and in Cali, everyone's like, oh my God, yeah, of course, like, duh. And
I
so
get it.
I found these really awesome people. And so that kind of brought me out here, and I lived off grid for many years. I became a farmer. I studied a lot of herbalism. I realized that I didn't need to go to do the doctor route. I thought about naturopathic school or something, but it's a lot about pathology and a lot about disease. And I was more interested in health and wellness and healing rather than recovering from an issue or dealing with an issue, trying to keep people from getting those issues, right? And so really growing plants and growing food was kind of like the root of that. And then I later became a structural alignment therapist. So I help people kind of align from the foundation, because you can eat and drink everything you want, take all the supplements, do all these things, but if you're closed down or you have something a little bit off, like your nerves are pinched, your lymph is pinched, your blood flow is pinched, which means your nutrients aren't moving, your organs aren't functioning properly. And literally, I've struggled with health stuff my whole life, like breathing machines, shots every week, like crazy shit. And getting my alignment back together has been the most profound. Like, I thought there was foods I couldn't eat that I all of a sudden could eat again, and all I had changed was how I was, teaching my body to correct itself through corrective exercises.
So you gotta teach me about that, because I have a pinched nerve, or I have a bulging disc which is pinching the nerve in my back, and I've been doing everything. So I first started on meds, and this spine doctor is like, okay, we're gonna put you in this medieval machine and it's just gonna stretch you. And I don't feel good right after. I actually feel really bad right after, but then after like a few hours, like, oh, okay, it is a little better.
For
But I
sure.
assume you're talking more on like a spiritual level, like
No, corrective exercises.
okay.
So what we do is we look at load joints, so like your shoulders, your hips, your knees, and your ankles, and we think about it as our body like kind of like a machine or a structure, right? Like a building. We would never build a building like this. We would really want to line, everything upright to not have to cause issues. If you're not, that's when you start to have to like have suspension cables that pull you back and help support things, and that's when all these other muscles start to work in ways that they're not designed to work. And
Yeah.
so it's instead of, the reason I found this was because I had a knee injury, and the physical therapist was like, oh, here's this sheet of exercises, and it's just generic to any knee problem that's kind of like the one I have. And it helped, sure, but it never really helped, like fixed it. And being able to see somebody's body as a whole, because if you can do whatever you want for that knee exercising, but if their hips are out of place or their ankle on one side
Yeah.
isn't doing its job, it will never be able to, I don't want to say never, I don't like absolutes, but it will really be difficult to move through that. And so we look at these major load joints and then see your body as a whole and use your own muscles to pull your bones back into place, because your muscles are what hold your bones upright. So if you didn't have them, you wouldn't be a form, right?
Yeah.
And so we need to kind of guide your body specifically based on what we see in your posture to kind of correct itself. Because if you, like you're saying, you get that relief, right? Eventually, it's just like the chiropractor. Like, I spent thousands of dollars at the chiropractor, and it would be great, and then I'd sit in my car immediately after and it would all be gone. It's
Yeah.
because my body didn't have the right muscle memory to do the job it needs to do, and so it just would always fall back out of place. So
Yeah.
this is like teaching people how to help themselves, essentially.
Good, because I had that's so they took X-rays like, hey, we could do this kind of fix your back all I want, but your hips are out of place by X amount of degrees. And I was like, so yeah, that's first thing. Yeah, body's a mess. That's what years in the military will do for you. Anyway, I
Yeah.
could have used your help probably on I had to write this story for Nike the Pig, and they had to make this super Nike comprised of all the shards of the rest of the Nikes. And I was like, okay, well, instead of shards, can we make it DNA? Because that's going to be so much easier. And he said, yeah. So we had to make a super Nike that had growth acceleration. And I was like, okay, we need to have I made a botanist Nike so that this way they could, do it on plants. So let me read one of the things that we have here. No nutrient. In botanist Nike's world, the villain made a way so that the food had no nutrition. So the pig invents a fluid that adapts to it and gives necessary nutrition, but that's not the one I wanted to go over. Okay. A way to grow plants and food like 8 times as fast, aka like a growth accelerator. So I figured with growth patterns, accelerate maturation periods, binding FT proteins to activate the nucleus of the meristem cells. That is as far as I got. How do you guys do it over at Monsanto? How do you make things grow more quickly?
Chemical fertilizers, and then altering genetics. So you could have in that situation, you could have like something like a bug that bites the plant and infects it with like a different, like something that takes over its DNA and like accelerates its growth. It like changes the way that its DNA is read to make it happen faster.
Copy. I would, yeah, it was, I feel like I didn't need to do any of this research. I could have just said it was magic or something, but wanted
No,
to
I
be
like it.
Well,
I like where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the growth of the plants to make the fetus pig all big. And then I had that fluid acted as what's that called? Like a amniotic fluid.
Yep.
And then the villain makes it in that one universe, mothers can no longer give birth. So he makes this like chamber for pig fetuses. So we had to make it like bigger because we had to make the pig fetus grow super large and super quickly. It was insane. Anyway, getting rid of that. Tell us about why Quakk Life? Is that something that you created? I know you're the co-dev, or is that something that you just kind of fell into?
Definitely something I created. I think the vision of the hubs, not necessarily the crypto side of them, but they've been around in my mind for 10, 11 years. I had found, when I came out to California, I had found a music and arts festival, and a lot about yoga and spirituality, kind of not necessarily like hardcore rave type festivals, but I had just found all of these beautiful artists and musicians and people who were making food and all types of edible art or whatever the type of art, right? Wearable art and all these different styles of art. And it was like, dang, this is almost like a self-sufficient space, where you have people providing all of these different services, sharing their passions and their visions on a bigger stage. And so it was kind of like, well, why can't that be more permanent? Why does it have to be this thing? Because the act of building and breaking down is not that sustainable. There's a lot of waste that goes into one-time use stuff, and it's not the greatest. So it's kind of like, well, how can we make this better but still kind of employ some of these things? And so then over the years, realizing that it needed to be a little more luxurious, it needed to be eco-friendly in the building side of things, and I've always kind of wanted to help animals in various ways. Up until I got to college, actually, I wanted to be a vet. And then I realized that the people needed help if they were going to help the animals. And so then I was like, okay, maybe I need to switch gears a little bit. Because they were like, dude, it was so crazy. They're like feeding to like catch bears, right? Because I was working with like some wildlife internships, and to catch bears, they would either give them donuts, right? Like, not what the fuck's wrong? Sorry, excuse my language. What's wrong with like a can of tuna, you guys, or tampons that they soaked in raspberry extract? Okay, I'm like,
Why would they
why
do
can't
that?
you just give them raspberries? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, all right. And then they put these satellite collars on these, like huge, you know, that would kind of like do this to your neck. And they're satellite collars with like frequency, right? And I'm like, well, don't you think that affects their brain development when they're babies? And they're like, absolutely not. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are just so detached. You know, like I need to help the people actually, because you guys are just fucking up the animals. And anyway, and so there was a big part of animal rescue. We've rescued and helped domesticate like probably 15 feral kittens over the years. And so we're like, you know, super into animal rescue and conservation. And then also opening a window into a different way of life, a different way of collaborating with each other, a different way of succeeding financially with each other, and just a different pace of living, you know, being a little bit more minimalist, a little bit more, you know, in touch with nature. Not to say that you can't have the nice things you want, but like, does everybody need all of them? You know, probably not. Like we can share some things, and we can, you know, try to kind of provide a safer space and a more sustainable space. And then realizing that a lot of it is going to be tourism. And so, you know, having fun things for people to do besides just music and art, you know, there's immersive installations, there's healing spaces, there's education spaces, playgrounds for adults where you're, you know, like swings and ropes courses. And oh, there's one cat. And you know, come here, kitty.
Yes,
Not sure. I know he's like, I'm not a performing seal. But you know, just like a different space, right? That we could offer a window into a different way of life, have people come in for, you know, Airbnbs and you know, maybe camping or glamping, or maybe they have an RV. And it kind of got inspired into crypto because in the last few years we've gotten really into you know, we bought Bitcoin like four or 5 years ago, and Ripple and some other, you know, like a handful of tokens. And I mean, actually probably like 20 different things that are all mostly, I think, like maybe Polygon's been like our worst our worst investment. But so that's been great. And then we got into Solana, into the meme space. My partner, I have never really bought or sold in the casino, not quite my jam. I'm not a good gambler. But we got in late December, I guess, maybe November. And then we just watched massive extraction, and we got invited into these groups, and turned out they were scammers. And it was just like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, and you see all these videos of people like, oh, look at all my money, look at my Lambos, look at all this shit. And it's like, well, why can't we build something better with this? Like, you're just taking money out of Solana, and which is what got you to where you are. So you're not supporting it in any way. And you're not doing anything better for the future generations. You're all about generational wealth, but you're just spending it on frivolous stuff and not actually investing into real businesses and real, you know, spaces that are kind of blending fiat and crypto. And so that's why, you know, we want to be able to spend crypto at these spaces. We want them to be kind of one in, you know, ideally, eventually one in every time zone would be awesome. But kind of like that Hyatt or Marriott type vibe where you can like get a pass and you go to all these different resorts, right? And there's water, lagoons is kind of the center of it for duck conservation, bringing water to water scarce areas, and having critter corners where we have like a cat sanctuary space. And yeah, have you seen the is it Furball Farm Pet Sanctuary on Instagram?
No. Okay, hold on.
Dude, look it up. They have like, they keep expanding. They started as like one little warehouse and they keep growing. I think they have 350 cats now, and they take the animals. Sanctuary? I think so. Furball Farm. Yeah.
This one?
And yes. and they have they take a lot of animals that are otherwise unadoptable, and so you know, like they may be missing an eye, or they're not as friendly, or there's something wrong, maybe they're not cute by standards or whatnot, and they give them a space. And I mean, they have all these cats in a room, which, you know, probably starting with cats, because we love dogs too, but that's a little bit more complicated with dogs, and you know, they're not as self-sufficient. There's a lot of issues, right? But yeah, and so being able to have spaces for different animals, and the ideas for different communities too, like at a festival, the person that, or the group that puts on the festival, they're not the one selling the food or the art or doing the music or selling, you know, or doing any of the education. They hold the space. And so that's what Quakk is. Quakk is a space holder to bring in other communities to share their passion and vision. Because if I try to do everything myself, I won't be able to do what it is I'm good at the best that I can. And so if I can help hold space for other people to share what they're good at and what they love, then, you know, we can all kind of grow and prosper together. You gotta watch out. I ramble, so you ask me questions, I'll just go for it.
Oh, that's fine. That makes my job so much easier.
I'm the same way. That's why I haven't talked.
I know. Hey, Sharvie.
Hi. This is all. But this thought in my head with what you guys are doing that I do want to share is I read an article or a post or something over the weekend about AI and how fast AI is moving, and how the basic, you know, all of these roles right now that people have, from project manager to writing SQL and financial analysts, and those might be absorbed by AI, and that people are gonna have to figure out what they love. Like, you're going to be spending a lot, and I think of my kids in this situation, they're going to be spending probably more time with themselves, right? And so just your guys' idea that you have about being more connected to oneself, because people are going to have to, a lot of people attach their worth to their job. Oh, hi, that looks like a little, it's a white cat.
Hi, baby.
Shiro.
Yeah.
It's
No.
Shiro.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway, people are going to have to figure out who they are, really, what they like, where they connect, and having a place like that, right? I just think the space that it's going to be a need, right? It's people are just going to have to do so much, like self-searching, I guess. I don't know.
Totally.
It had my brain spinning on Saturday. I'm like, that's true. Like, our kids, like, what, I mean, unless you're like, we're going to need lots of therapists. I don't like what jobs are out there. I mean, I've been a project manager in construction for over 20 years. And I think my job could probably, that could be done easily by, right, scheduling, budget, all the stuff that you sit hours and do in Excel. I'm sure AI will be able to handle it just fine. So it's just very interesting. Do you guys have any land or like space yet, or is this like still in that concept? Because I
It's
love
still
the
in,
concept. Okay.
yeah, we're still in concept. We are, we have a few, we've been looking, right? So we have, like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 phases on our roadmap that's about to happen. Like, well, it's been happening, but I'm doing a big website update, so y'all will have some more kind of details here soon about that. I was just pulling it up. But we're in like phase 3-ish, and we're probably thinking like phase 6-ish. So we want to have basically everything on the crypto side of things really set up, and, you know, how we're accepting payments, how we're, you know, using our NFTs and our token as tickets essentially, or giving different bonuses in real life through them. And so there's a lot of back end work first. And then once we get that, we'll get our business. You know, we also are trying to establish our structure of our business. So we have our LLC, we have our trademark, we are working on a 501c3, and once we kind of get a lot of this permitting and this kind of back end development together, we're going to be expanding into more in real life products and types of services, and kind of retreats and things. I have coming up one in September, but so that we can start to really make some funds towards that and get, you know, the business credit line and do all that. because for me, this is it. Like, I won't be on another project. I mean, I might be like, oh, this is my friends. I love this, these people, but I won't dev another project. This business will go to TradFi, we'll go to, investment firms if we have to go that route. We'd rather do it kind of crowd-funded source. Like, we bought 51% of our supply so that 49% was available to the public, so that people in Web3, the regular everyday people could have a chance at it, right? Rather than just taking it and giving all this money to, some VC firm, which is fine. Like I said, if we have to, we'll do, the things it takes, but that's kind of where we see it. So we need to get, that business plan really established. We're looking at outside of Palm in the Palm Springs area, which is like 2 hours of outside of LA, or in the southern Mendocino County, which is about 2 hours outside of San Francisco. So we're kind of looking at, being within a short drive of a major metropolitan area, but still being able to have enough land, because we do want to do a lot of conservation. So there will be like trails and, completely untouched wilderness that is left, and where we can just go and walk the trails and enjoy it in that way. And so we do need space, right? So we're not going into any major metropolis, but we do need that, especially in like on the, West Coast. Like, we need an artsy kind of progressive, crypto-minded type population to pull from, to get them to come to these types of spaces. People who want to come to immersive art installation places. Like, if you've heard of Meow Wolf, they offer some really cool type experiences where they build these art. It's a different way of going to an art gallery, basically, where you're really interactive with it. You can touch things, you can maybe climb on it. There's storylines, you walk through things. It's really more kind of an in real life experience, which I did want to touch on. What you brought on with the AI is that's one thing that AI is not going to solve. There is still in real life experiences for people, and they might be able to do those, management roles and do the things to help make it happen. But you still need people to go interact with. Like, if you just showed up at a resort and a music, show or an education, and it was just a bunch of robots and you were the only people, you're going to have a hard time, pitching that to people.
Yeah.
So I think that those experiences will be really powerful as we move forward.
I agree.
So when you talk about the supply, you're talking about the token supply of Quakk,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And the 51%, is that held in your wallet, partner's wallet? Is it in a dev wallet? Is it in a liquidity? Can you tell us a little bit about where that's stored?
Totally. So right now, it was in one wallet, and that was not, what do I say? Accepted. Yeah. People weren't thrilled about that when they would run it in their scanners and their different Telegram groups. So we did split that up. But we are on Meteora, and so we generate rewards through volume as the top holders. And so as we pick up volume, we will get rewards, and those rewards are how we help to sustain the project, sustain the community incentives without having to sell off the chart. And so we can't like lock them like a traditional lock per se. And so we will be putting them, as we kind of increase in market cap and increase in revenue streams, we'll be locking, well, I don't want to say locking, but pairing it with Solana and putting some of it into different liquidity pools to also generate more rewards. And so the idea of just having the supply and locking it away in a vault that it doesn't work for you is just like a bad investment plan. And so we need it to be able to, either it's earning Solana and staking, it's, being put in these different liquidity pools to generate rewards that we can then use, for the business, the development, like I said, the community incentives, marketing, conservation, all these different little kind of aspects. And so right now it's split up and it's in our personal wallets. We are doing our big news for us this week. Well, there's actually like a lot of things this week, but our profit sharing or our revenue rewards system is going to go active on Friday. And so we will have an update to our website and our light paper that kind of goes over how NFT sales, each NFT sales split. So there's 7 different wallets, that go to different categories, right? Like I mentioned, project development. The artist is going to get some, which my partner and I are the artists, and then there's project development. There's the revenue rewards pool, marketing, liquidity addition, chart support, conservation. I feel like there's one other I'm missing. But it kind of is going to break down how our merch is, how the profits from merch is put away, how the profits from NFTs are divvied out, and that's all, the NFTs are going to be on the blockchain. Like every NFT sale, it's going to all get split up into those different wallets that are going to be doing those different things. But the merch is in fiat, so we have to handle that accordingly.
You said you had a 501c3 that you were planning. How close are you to that? Who's on the board? And again, just like a time frame for it.
Time frame. Let's see. I'm getting all the bank accounts and everything squared up this week. So, I mean, maybe next month, possibly sooner, maybe 2 months. I would say like within 2 months, more than likely. And we're just trying to make sure that what we do is totally above board, because we know that, as we increase in market cap and as the value of our company goes up, we will be under scrutiny. So we're working with, tax professionals and, legal type professionals who can help make sure. We actually had just signed somebody onto the team that's worked with the SEC before. They were a whistleblower early on to help, kind of show scams during kind of cryptos, in like 2010, 2012 type time. And so he has some experience with how to make sure you're doing the things you need to do to apply to do the things that you need to do or you want to do, right? How to turn your vision into a legal reality in the American system or the United States system. So, I'd say probably within a few months for sure, but maybe even sooner. We just want to be able to make sure that, because once you're like, the 501c3s get a little bit more scrutiny than like an LLC, for example, because you are getting tax breaks and you're giving people tax breaks. And so they want to make, that's a little bit more strict on the rules there. And as far as who's on the board, I think our team is up to 8 now, including myself and my partner, who are the co-devs and the artists of the NFTs. I want to say it's 8. It might actually be 9, because we just brought that other person in, and we're kind of vetting out one other person who does a lot of like corporate system software kind of, development to make automation for major influx kind of make sense, right?
All right. I just bought a small bag. I just put like 1 soul into it.
Well, thanks, Randy.
So what's the typical volume day for you? Like, how much is it usually? I'm seeing usually between like 2 and 4 here. Is there some that's lighter? Like, do you have events planned for?
Yeah, I'd say it's anywhere usually between, most average, like 4 to 10, with like 20 occasional, and so we are mainly building in the back end right now. Like I said, getting these systems, our revenue reward system together, getting those kind of in real life Web 2 things ready so that we can blend the fiat and the crypto in a legal way and make sure that, we're doing things above board as we give money out. There's a lot of restrictions on the term profit sharing and how you do that. And so, getting our wording together and everything. And then, we do have some ideas for big marketing pushes. And there is actually potentially in this week going to be something happening. I can't divulge too much, but maybe sooner in this week rather than later. There's a little kind of collaboration with another project that I'll just say tends to bring volume.
Sweet. And on the board, so my goal is at the end of like the next 5 years, to buy a bunch of land in Madagascar and try to make them conservation areas, because that's where a lot of the endangered species are, like the most
Diverse,
amount
yeah,
in one
for
area.
sure.
But I have not yet, like I was a veterinary assistant back in the day. I also wanted to be a vet, so I worked in there for like the better part of a decade before I joined the military. How would I get on this board? How would I wouldn't take any money. I would just do it for free. Some type of, yeah, what would I have to do?
Come talk with us in Telegram. And we could talk about it for sure. I'd want to set up a meeting with you and the rest of the team. And obviously, you are not just some random person. We've spoken before on the phone, maybe a few times. And so I could, we could talk about that for sure.
Coolio.
Yeah, definitely looking to, build out, and it takes a village, y'all. Like, oh, here's another kitty. This one's Orange Kitty.
Oh my goodness, a baby.
Hey, kitty.
Hi, kidders.
Yeah.
Oh, the little green eyes.
Yeah, he's like the best kitty. He just is like, when you think about a cat, he's that one. Some of our other cats, we have one that's like must have been really traumatized, and that's why we ended up keeping her, because we were not able to really domesticate her. It's been 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and she is like, we can pet her on her own accord, but if you like walk up to her, she runs. If you call her name or look at her, she runs. She's just we knew that she wasn't going to get a good home, so we ended up keeping that one too. But this guy, and then the white one you saw, is just crazy. He, I think, was the runt and maybe just a little bit special. He has a cat wheel that he sticks his tail straight up and looks straight forward and just meows. And he'll walk on it, and then you'll be like, meow, and he'll look at you, and he'll run over and he'll aggressively rub his teeth on you, and then for like 10 seconds and get bored, and then go back to the wheel and do the same thing. And it's like Groundhog Day. Like, he literally will repeat this for like 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the nighttime. And he is just a little bit special. None of the other cats have weird tendencies like that or anxiety. He's just, and he likes to stand in the corner and meow at the wall.
Same.
I don't know. He sees the world differently.
He's an
Randy
autistic
likes
kitty.
to do that too.
Yeah. And this guy, he'll just like sit and chill, and you could pretty much do whatever you want to him. He comes when he's called. He's just a good kitty. This is Jasper.
Jasper kitty. Hi.
Jasper.
So I have an idea. I don't know if I should say it publicly yet. Like, you're open to collabs and you're open to doing certain things. So in Ladies on Solana, they in that comic that I wrote for them, they inherit this ranch, and then they fuck up some poachers, and then there's something else that happens, and there's a Mexican standoff between the ladies, the poachers, and something else. I won't give it away, but it's freaking awesome. How, if it's cartoonish, I mean, the Ladies on Soul gets a little hardcore, but because I have this idea, I'll just say it, between Quakk Life and Quakey that we had on last week, and maybe you guys have like this fight in a comic where you're just like, no, this is our pond. It's like, well, this is our pond years ago. We claimed it by doing this weird thing, and then they're fighting, but then something else comes in. There's like, no, this is my pond, and then Quakk Life and Quakey have to fusion Ha, and then they fight a common enemy. How'd you feel about something like that? I haven't
like
talked to
that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just so you know too, Pixie from Ladies is a friend, and yeah,
I love her.
Yeah, and also Quakey is a friend. We are doing every Friday at 11 Eastern, we're doing a duck space, and so there's about 6 different duck projects involved, and birds of a feather flock together. We all migrate, we all do that, we fly together. So yeah, we're definitely down to do some collaboration. I'm actually going on they do like a live stream in Belize, like with the national television.
Sweet.
And I'm going on for this Friday, actually, I believe. Yeah, he is a nice cat. I know. Like I said, can you hear him purring?
Oh yeah.
He kind of has a special purr. It's like he's got like a different little sound to it. But yeah, he's a special guy.
What's his name again?
Jasper.
Jasper. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Jasper in the comment.
Yeah.
He'll just be the one cat that's chill with everyone.
Yep, he's the one cat. And the other one, so they all came from, it turned out, so they were farm cats, right? Somebody had a feral mom, and somebody's like $5,000 flame point Siamese male that was unneutered got out and knocked up this mom with like 3 different litters over the course of a few months. And so we just kept having all these kittens brought to us because they're like, oh, you're taking care of the kittens, here's more. And so the white one actually has orange tipped ears and an orange tail. And there's another one that's like, that started out, it's so crazy. I wonder if he'll come. Zion. He started as a completely white cat with an orange ears and an orange tail and bright blue eyes, like crazy. And over the course of 2 years, he turned orange. He just like kept changing color. And I guess that's like can be kind of common with the flame points, but so only 2 of them really look like flame points. Like this guy just looks like a orange kind of tabby cat. And then the other one that I said's not very domesticated is like a green-eyed tortie. And then there's the 2 white ones. Whitish. He's dirty now, but he's not gonna come. Zion. No.
It's all good.
Like, yeah, whatever, dude. He also so funny. He like the cats, like they all eat and then they leave, except for him. He doesn't ever leave. And so he's like, we've been struggling to try to get him to lose weight. That's why we got this cat wheel, right? To help him maybe lose a little pounds, because he just eats whatever they don't eat. And so I put like less food in the bowls, and and I shoo him off or whatever, but he still just finds a way. He's getting fat, this guy.
Okay. I am quite happy, I think, with my, hold on, let me do another small something, real quick. Swapping. I did another half a soul. Okay. Because you're getting me bullish here.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely like, it's funny. I was actually talking to somebody and they're like, oh, I'm on Ripple and I don't actually do meme coins. I'm like, yeah, it's funny because we do have a meme coin, like, but it's, we're not hyped. Like, you'll never hear me in space, like, buy my thing. Like, come on, guys, do it. I'm like, if you want to invest in a business, here's an opportunity. And that's, pretty much the gist of it. And
so is there a tax? Like, how much of a tax is there on the?
Meteora charges their fee, but there's no tax. The reward systems. How do
the rewards come in?
So that's where we bought that supply that generates. So, I mean, it's 510 million tokens, right? So it's going to take us a long time. I think we've given probably almost 10 million tokens away over the course of 5 months. And I think like 16 million have been burned over just through like transactions and liquidity stuff. But the idea is that supply generates rewards, right? And also we do our revenue reward share. And so that also will provide rewards. There is an entry fee, or like not a fee, but entry level. Like you have to have a certain amount, which is going public on Friday, or I would divulge that information. But, and then there's also NFT staking. So we put, with any NFT you get, you put it in passive staking through our mint page with SoulSuite. We're minting on Launch My NFT. Make sure, for anyone listening, you get all your links from my bio on X, because there is, people see you have a good thing and they steal it. It's what happens to everybody. So just make sure you get that and stay safe. So you get the NFT, then you can passively stake it so it stays in your wallet, and you get token every day for that. And then token staking, we had a stake to earn pool, but there was issues working with Meteora on getting liquidity added to that pool. So it was just like stuck at whatever we started it with. So we've actually, this person that has worked with the SEC that I mentioned, they also have worked with Meteora. And so we are in the back end trying to sort out how to get that program up and running. But token staking will also be happening because the Meteora airdrops happen to the top 50 based on, you know, your volume in your project, and also how much you hold of the project. But so we don't want to, and so the profit sharing also kind of requires you to have a certain amount of token. And so we don't want to be like, oh, you have to have money to get rewards through us. And so that's where the NFT staking and then this token staking is going to be available to 888 people, so that we can kind of expand out, you know, who's getting rewards.
Okay. I have this idea. Well, I have a couple ideas. And we will get to it at some point. So that's really cool. What's the largest the market cap has been? It's like 380-ish now, I think.
Yeah, 478, and then we had a whale full clip like 10K, like 31 million tokens.
Okay.
We have since learned he did a lot of social engineering, right? He got into the back end with us and joined the team. Luckily didn't get involved in any like real business stuff. I know. Yeah, and then we've been watching him in other groups and how he interacts, and dude, this guy is terrible. Like, he's so mean and just rude. I'll connect with you, but not. Okay. I don't. Yeah, I don't want to run that. He doesn't deserve the time and energy anymore. Okay. But anyways, so got in, and turns out he is a scammer in real life too. Though actually, he happened to be in the same state that I'm from, and my mom works in the legal office or department, and she's like, "What's his name? I'm gonna look him up." You know. Yeah, he owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in real life to like default businesses and scam, you know, garnished wages, and just a mess. So yeah, turns out he's not a great guy, and is continuing to show us that. He floored like 90 of our NFTs. They've since then been picked up off the floor, which is great.
How many NFTs is there?
Total?
Yeah.
We have 8,888.
Okay, cool. And they were all minted?
No.
Okay, they're still okay.
Yeah, we're like 10 or 12% through the mint. You'll see two mint pages of 4,444, and that was an internet upload issue. We tried for a week to get the whole collection uploaded, waking up all throughout the night. It just wouldn't happen. But Launch My NFT won't they can't put them together, but the collection, like the metadata, so everything that moves to Magic Eden or secondaries, is all in that 8,888.
I had all dolled up. So last week we had Quakey on, and I wound up buying one of 100 NFTs, and now I just bought I think a couple $100 worth of all dolled up. You got to start picking some projects, because the ones that I
was just thinking, wow, our last
cost me $300 a week.
Really expensive for Randy.
Yeah, we gotta stop this. I'm gonna be poor.
People you're not so bullish on.
Yeah, like so
quackish, not so quackish on.
Okay, I'll confess something. So before the last seat, solo, I did the hot seat every Monday from Sharby, and I would have 3 projects, and I vetted the projects before they came on. I mean, and we know it's like herding cats, literally. Like, you have so many DMs going out, like the energy and time it takes just to set these up, right? You got to talk to it takes time. So, I'm in the background. I would talk to them like the week before, back and forth, and I would go into their Telegram. I'd join the Telegram. I'd follow them on X. I'm taking like my own deep dive, and it was my way of introducing myself, because I work so hard in the background and doing all the background stuff for Sharby, that it was my way of like just knowing about other projects, because last week's guest, I had never heard of the project. I'm like stuck in my tunnel, I guess, in my little closed loop system. Yeah. And so from all my hot seats, I think what I have like 25 hot seats on Mondays, I bought one project, and it's the only one that rugged. They're gone. They're not around. But it's funny because, we were live on camera, and I ended up talking to those guys for weeks, and I just was like, oh my gosh. And they were just, I felt, right. It was just like another lesson in Web3. Here I am. Like, I told my husband, I told Hero, I was like, I'm buying this one. Like, I am, yes, this is it. Like, oh shit. Like the next week it was gone. I was like, why is the Telegram deleted? Like, what the heck? Anyway, so we have had some amazing projects on this show, but I'm not fully dead inside yet. I am definitely not a degen. And I'm just like, you know, I don't know. It's funny, but
Girl, no.
The ones we've had on here, I will tell you, and I'm like Mystic, you know, I'm Sharby all the way. I'm 2.5 years of every day. I was telling Randy, Mystic, or everyone, how this was the first weekend in 2.5 years I didn't open Telegram from Friday to Sunday. The first time in 2.5 years. And you know, I love other projects. But I leave the investment thing to my husband. He is way better at it. And Randy, you can probably contest. I just leave it to him, and I'm just not yelling from the sidelines anymore. Sell, sell, sell.
Yeah, girl, dude, I'm so with you. I don't play in the casino. I think I bought like Brett and Andy on base, and like, and we got, like I said, had gotten involved in the casino with some in Solana. What turned out to be there were people we met in real life, and they're like, yeah, come watch us launch this token. You can learn and all this stuff. And we're like, okay, cool. And they're like, don't sell, just don't sell. Meanwhile, they're just selling, and we don't know what we're doing at the time. You know, we're like completely normies, completely new, other than like the fact that we have like Bitcoin on a wallet, you know, like no idea. And then like all of a sudden there's no money and everyone's gone, and we're like, but wait, what? You know? And so I don't buy and sell, and I'm with you. I tend to invest mostly in projects that also have NFTs. I find that they tend to, I can't say for certain because it's easy to make an NFT, especially with AI these days, but they tend to be have more community sense, or, you know, I actually really at this point only invest in the Green Pill Collective projects. So it's a group of people who, there's like a task force of like 3 to 5 people that are vetting people, like going through contracts, going through backgrounds of people, having VCs with people, like really making sure that they're safe for their community. And there's about 30 or maybe 35 projects, and several hundred people. I think maybe they're up to 400 people in their community. But so I really try to just support those people.
Could you connect me? Because I'd like to get that. If you can connect me, I'd love to get that daCat like verified on. Because I mean, our it should be easy. Our contract. Yeah, and I guess SHIRO too.
Let me drop it in this comments here.
Because our contracts are announced.
How have it in like the outreach that you've done outside, like introducing people to crypto, right? Like, so, you know, my parents, for instance, it's like, do you still do that purple dog stuff every day? And it's like, yep, I sure do. I play with the purple dog every day. But what is your feedback, just IRL? I'm just so curious of like when you go out to people, like how do you approach them, or is it something that you let happen organically? And if they bring it up and then you say, oh, we are into Web3, or we are going into the blockchain with this, is there pushback, or do you feel like I'm just curious of that experience, because there are some projects out there that are taking that IRL spin, and that part I'm passionate about, right? Like we've spent 2.5 years building Sharby as a brand, but at the same time we are building out to bring value to Web3, to have it to where my kids, like, this is going to be decentralized finance is going to be what you use in 10, 20 years, right? Because we are so early, so new to all this. Just curious of like, when you have those conversations.
I do really want to answer this, but my dog is screaming at me to go outside. So give me like 15 seconds. I'll be right back.
Copy. All right, so I am going to join. Okay, I agree to join the Green Pill Collective, and hopefully I'll get the how do I comment about the
See, another thing like we hadn't heard of, right? I
Yeah.
love holding these spaces. I love holding these spaces because like if it educates me, right, being in the space, it's educating those that watch it or come back and watch this, because I hadn't even heard of the Green Pill Collective, and what a great idea.
Yeah, I just joined. How do I be like, hey, who can message me about the cat?
So here, I will
Oh.
Crypto Stoner.
Great name.
I know. Let me get his handle real quick for you.
Sure. I mean, it doesn't have to be right now. It could be after, but if it's on your mind, that's fine.
Yeah, I will. I'll respond to your comment, and I'll drop his handle. So he's one of, I mean, I'm a part of the founders too. There's like a smaller group of us, but he is involved in the task force that kind of vets people. So I believe that their website is now active, and that's where you would begin that vetting process. But just send him a message and tell him, that you heard about the Green Pill Collective from Quack, and you're interested in getting your project involved. And yeah. Okay, so to answer the question about in real life outreach, so I'm actually going every other week to my local market, and I'm setting up a booth, and I'm talking to people about crypto. We're flyering, we're passing out handbills, and it's all about education. Sure, there's like a little duck, and there's like a little Quack NFT, and there's a little branding or whatnot, but we're really talking about Bitcoin, Ripple, Solana, Ethereum, and just crypto, mainly Bitcoin, right? Because that's like the big hubbub on the mass media. And something that we realized, and why this initiative kind of started, was that we can sit around as crypto enthusiasts and wait for mass media to make the switch for people, or we can do what we can in our local areas to help grassroots that movement. And so the more we pay with our crypto.com cards or whatever, it says crypto on it, right? The more we ask businesses, hey, do you accept crypto? Like eventually people will be like, damn, like 20 people asked me that. Like I probably, like maybe I should get that, And the response, it was so cute actually this last week. Like a 10-year-old boy ran over and he's like, Bitcoin. And I'm like, what do you know about Bitcoin, And he's like, I know we have some. And I was like, that's great, And so he brought his mom over, and like his other family, there was like 4 kids, and she was like, it was hilarious. And she signed up for our crypto club, which is where we're going to be doing a once a month meeting where we help. 1 hour will be like getting people set up with wallets and like real generic basic stuff. And then the next hour will be a little bit, more deep dive into some different types of crypto, but really just an open forum. And so we're doing a lot of like crypto education type stuff. We have our education platforms coming out in the next week or two, kind of getting that a little bit more finalized right now on the website side of things. But the mother of these children was like, I said, oh, so he said you have Bitcoin. And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, when did you get it? She was like 3 years ago. And I was like, okay, so you're up. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you're up. I'm like, okay, like you have Bitcoin and you don't have a fucking clue about what's going, like, okay, so, okay, please, can I get your email? Like, please sign up for this. Like, you need help, And so there's some really great responses. There's like the 65-year-old man who's like, yeah, my son got me in at 30K, and he's like, so I've been moving some of my investment or my retirement into Bitcoin. And I'm like, great. And then there's the people who have spent a lot of the community I'm at is, at least in my small area, I'm about an hour outside of a major California state school, but it's a real small, like rural community, and it's a lot of people that came out during the Back to the Land movement in the 60s. And so they're all, over 60, right?
Are you in Northern California or Southern?
I am, yeah.
Okay, I'm from Chico. I don't know.
Nice. I'm in Humboldt.
Okay.
Yeah, so
awesome.
on the coastal, in the redwoods, yeah. But it's super. It's it's pretty rural.
Yes.
Besides like the one major city and where the college is. And so this one guy, he's just like, and it's funny because a lot of people out here, you know, it's a lot of hippies and a lot of conservative ranchers, but like, and when I say hippie, I mean like nature, back to the land, like minimal, conservational type, sustainable type people. And then the cattle ranchers, and is a very blue and very red, and they come back around because they both usually don't like the government, don't like regulation, don't, you know, they agree that like all humans are human and should have the same rights regardless of whatever other shit that humans doing. And so we all can get along, and it's really a beautiful place for that specific reason. But something that's funny, and because like I said, most people are against the system and they, you know, retaliate and they revolt and they protest and they do these things, but some people have put so much money into the fiat system, and that's where everything, their entire livelihood. And so if you start to talk about it being broken, or that crypto could be a new way of doing monetary exchanges, which they see as a devalue or as a threat, holy smokes, guys. Crazy battles come out. I'm like sitting there eating my salad at my little booth, and this guy's just freaking ranting, and he's like trying to tell me that Bitcoin's only used for laundering drug money. And it's all scammers, every single one of them. The only reason I get scam phone calls and scam letters in the mail is because I have a crypto company. I'm like, bro, my trademark has nothing to do with crypto. They have no idea. Like scams like how many spam phone calls do you get? You know, like, and then I'm like, don't you remember the 80s? People were moving drugs all over the place in fiat. They still move it in fiat. Like everything you're saying is just not making any sense, you know? But they're just so stuck because they have so much of their livelihood invested in this system. And so that's like, it's been really helpful for me to see what kind of articles we need to be putting out, what kind of videos, what kind of discussion do we need to have to make people feel more comfortable, to not feel as threatened, but to also show them that the fiat system is broken. There are issues, and your dollar isn't backed by gold anymore. And that's a problem. That means that it's just a fucking meme coin, just like freaking any other crypto, you know, like anything only really has value unless we agree, you know, it only has value if we agree it has value. And except for things like gold, right? Because it has a use like in a lot of different industries. And so fiat, like I guess we could burn it for heat or something, but like, you know, there's no like, it's not backed anymore. And so it's all just interesting. Like, and then the fact that they don't maybe realize that like when you put your money in a bank and you go to try to get it out, if you want too much, they won't give it to you because they don't actually have it, because they've lent it out. And it's like, well, instead of these establishments being the ones that do it, why not let, you know, not the 1% have a chance at it? Like, be your own bank, you know? So it's been good and bad responses. Like, oh, you have NFTs, you're a scammer. I'm like, dude, you've known me for like years. Like, how, you know, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just all scams. I'm like, if you walk down a city street, like went to LA, and you shook hands with everybody you walked into by, which is kind of like what we do in Web3, and you're like, hey, let's start a business. Hey, will you join my business? Like 1% or less of those people are going to be good people to do that with. We just don't go do that in real life. But in Web3, we have to educate ourselves because we are swimming through these seas of people, and we have to navigate, you know, smartly. So I'm stoked on it. It's been really eye-opening, and also really rewarding to get to have the conversations with people who are like, wow, this is just really cool. Or like, do I check your website? Like, how do I even, like, what do I do? How do I get involved? Like, do I just give you money? Like, you know, I'm like, no, don't just give me money. Like, yes, let's get you set up with the wallet. You know, we'll get you a token, and, you know, I'll walk you through some stuff. And yeah, it's been cool. Thanks for the question.
That's awesome. Love that. And what great research too, right? Like, and seeing those people IRL. and educating for you too. And I have to plug, I know you said you have a platform you're building. One of our DAO members, very early on, we created an educational website. It's since been rebranded. He's still part of our DAO. But it's Cypher at CYPHER, Cypher University. And he has never doxed himself, which he, bless his heart, like I tried, but he wouldn't. But I know he I think he's a mathematician. I don't know what he is, but he has done such a good job with that Cypher University, and he still runs it today and keeps it up. But we, at the time when he launched it, we launched it from Sharby, and we were still on Shibarium at that time. And so we had coined it Shibarium University. And so when we migrated off of Shibarium to Base, he rebranded the website, but he has made that himself. You can do quizzes and get certificates, and but just the information that he compiled and put into that, I just wanted to give a plug to it, because I went to it the other day and I was just like, he's self-done this whole thing, and it's really phenomenal what he's done there. So Cypher University, check it out. There's a lot of good information on there.
Totally. I just wrote it down. That sounds great. I mean, we need that. Like I said, like for everybody that has a project, we will all benefit if more people come into crypto. Even if I get my aunt to come in and buy Quack, she's going to tell her friends or whoever that she got into crypto. And that's going to be what she's going to say. And then they're going to come in. And whether or not they buy Quack or they buy Bitcoin or Solana or whatever, is just, you know, we all know like more volume is good. So more holders is good. And so I think it's kind of you know, part of our duty as crypto project leaders to be trying to push crypto in real life. Like everyone here, like I can go show my project, like, you know, y'all know how to do things. You can click the link, look at my website, you can watch videos of me, see if you want to trust me and believe in the mission and the vision. But the people in real life, they need people that they trust to talk to them about it. And so, you know, going out into those smaller tight-knit communities, or talking about it with your friend groups, or like I said, swiping that card, or asking if they take Bitcoin, or, you know, probably not Bitcoin, but asking if they take crypto. And it's just really, really the way, in my opinion, like the way forward for us as a whole.
I understand. In my previous life, I used to be a lender, did high risk lending for a lot of people that had like 500 credit, so banks wouldn't give them money. And most people that I was able to lend money to, like, or even the people that just applied, like 99% of them, yeah, okay, can't lend money. But I'm very good at discerning which ones will pay back, which ones are real, and that was just all over the phone. So it's stuff like you, Quakey, ladies on Solana. You guys all happen to be on Solana, which I didn't plan. It just happened. I'm more of an ETH guy usually, but a lot of the projects that are on in the daCat universe, like Ladies, Space Penguins, and Solana Wolfpack, they're all on Solana. So big community over there. I promise to be a productive member of the Quack, and I only do it though for people with that, have that work ethic. The Stu Kwan from Quakey I could tell immediately from New York. I could tell he has his coffee with like a cigarette in the morning, and I guarantee you that's how he starts his day. Getting that bread. I say that with you. I say that with Pixie. So I'm all in. We don't want to keep you too long. Anything you want to say before we bounce and we talk off camera? Say bye-bye to Dashi.
Well, I'm looking forward to that conversation, because like I said, the more like-minded people behind a project, I think the better. And I think something that this whale clipping that's kind of shown me, because it was like, you know, it's a pretty serious scar on the chart, and you're like, oh, you know, and people get down and it kind of hurts morale for a moment. But watching the people that had bought above this person not sell, and just be like, yeah, I mean, I believe in you guys. Like, it has nothing to do with that. I think that's been really eye-opening and really awesome to kind of get that response, and also just like giving an opportunity, like when one door closes, another opens, right? And so he left, and literally the very next day, we got hooked up with this guy from the SEC that's like super awesome human, like taking tasks off my list, like really helping me out, project manager kind of development, you know, and it's just like it gives opportunity for better people to get in, right? Because he's just somebody that like snipes projects on Moonshot right when they launch and wrecks them at bonding, which he did, and then comes back if they do some, you know, do to prove that they're going to keep going. And so I think that that's been really cool. We do have like a whale deal going on, and a dolphin deal. So that would be like call to actions and also mint bounty prizes. So in the NFT pool of prizes, we have 180 soul, and I think about probably 3 or 4 soul has been given out so far. I mean, there's hundreds of chances to win. It's like 1 in 22 chance, like statistically. But what happened last time is it got up to like 42 minutes before somebody got one, and then they hit 3. Like the next, like within like 5, like 3 of them got hit, you know. So that was great. We sent like 2 soul back to 1 person, and that was exciting. But so there's that. So you have to mint off our mint page to qualify for that. You can't pick them up off secondaries. And then we have the whale deal, which is if you buy 1% of supply in and you hold it for a month, you'll get an extra 2 million tokens after that month. If you refer somebody as a whale, you'll also get 250,000 tokens after they hold for that month. And then the dolphin deal is a $1,000 buy, and you get 25% after you hold for a month. And let's see, big developments this week. We had just launched last week our customizable merch, so kind of our second phase, the start of our second phase of our shop. We have a few more products coming out this week, getting samples kind of, they're actually at the post office right now. And that's been fun to put people's NFTs on like water bottles and sweatshirts and stuff. What else? We've got the education platforms coming out soon, which means that our kind of more cross-country or even global kind of in real life marketing campaign is going to begin, because we're going to have banners and flyers and all these different kinds of things that link them to these sites and to these groups and these clubs. We did get monetized on X, so subscriptions are going to be coming out soon.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Good for you. How'd you get you need like what, 5 million impressions in like 3 months? How did you do that?
We met a super wonderful lady in the Green Pill Collective that has helped over 37 projects accomplish it. So
I need to do that, because I'm not verified. I have 22, or I don't have monetization. I got 22,000. Like, fuck.
Totally. That's not, it has, as long as you hit the verified follower number that you have to hit.
Yeah, I have it. The last thing is the 5 million. Like, that's the only thing I need.
Yep. That's where we were too. And she did it in 8 days.
God. Okay. Give me that, ladies. All right. We have to have you on again, because there's clearly so much, and we need
so much.
And it's got to be on a day when I'm not 67 hours into fasting and I can drink.
How are you doing? How are you
Sorry,
doing?
I'm like drinking smoothie. I'll put
I'm sipping my drink too, and I'm thinking about you're at 67 hours now.
Yeah, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, it'll be 72 hours. So yeah, about 6 to 7 hours.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I have a wedding in a couple weeks, so I gotta, not mine. I mean, it's a friend, but I'm going, and I wanna fit in the pants. So, you know, gotta try that. But although that said, I already lost some weight, so I feel like
you just looked, yeah. They're just
I shaved too.
Clean. It's all, reset.
Yeah, I wouldn't even notice. You got a glow about you. I will say too that aligning your structure is probably one of the most key elements of weight loss as well. So just being able to detox properly and move everything through. And
I hang on that.
Nice, dude. Hanging's great. But yeah, as far as anything else from us, we just got our, like I said, our LLC, Quakk Enterprises, is active, getting our business line of credit this week, and profit sharing, or the revenue reward system. Sorry, I gotta like change my brain on the verbiage. The revenue reward system will be coming out Friday, which is coming alongside a website update. where a lot of our team members are going to be doxing themselves. We're also kind of we've kind of revamped a lot of the website. It's a little bit chaotic right now. And so
I love the switching her brain, because she went from profit sharing to revenue rewards. And I remember emailing our attorney when I was creating our Git book, and I was like, I put in the phrase and I'm like, can I say this? And he said, yes, switch these 2 words. And I'm like, you know, because we just got to word it right. The revenue share, revenue rewards.
Yep. It's so true. It's so crazy how simple terminology can save you so much money on taxes, can save you legal issue problems. Like, so just got to get in that different kind of a world. And then every weeknight we have at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have spaces, and each night's a different space. So tonight is mindful wellness. We have a panel of people who come and just kind of help inspire insightful conversation. Last one was really great. We had like 350 people in the room, and the speaker board was full, and everybody was just talking about, you know, all sorts of different ways of healing and things that they do to recenter themselves, and just kind of a different, you know, take on, because everyone's in Web3 and all these spaces. And then Tuesday is NFT collab mint parties. So we pair up with another NFT project. We kind of push some promos for each other and try to just, you know, kind of feature essentially, you know, AMA style, some other project. And then Wednesday is crypto technical analysis. So we have some people who do trading and who kind of mostly focus on like Bitcoin, Solana, a little Ethereum, a little Ripple, overall market sentiment. Thursdays are featured projects and open chills, and Fridays like a music jam session and featured musicians. So, and then Sunday in our Telegram, 8 p.m., we do a VC. But if anyone's interested in being an investor or learning more, like, we're happy to open VC, and you can talk straight to the devs, and we'll make the time to kind of make that happen.
I'll try to get in that whale thing eventually, because it's like $4,000 now, right? To get in that 1%. Well, again, we'll talk off camera a little bit on that. And the
profit sharing will be a little bit less than that. I mean, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It's 0.5% of token and of supply of token, and 0.5% supply of NFT. So that's about 44 NFTs, and the 0.5% supply, we're almost at 400K. So that's like $2,000 plus the NFTs.
Cool. Yes, Travis is my cat. All right, cool beans. Let's talk off camera for a bit. Thank you so much for coming. Get that bread. Yes, we love the cat. We'll do a collab at some point. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi.
Oh,